What is going on, everybody? This is Aaron from 49ers First Takes here on the latest episode of Cover 3. I am your host today, and I am shared by my co-host, Dre from Dre Area Sports and Sterling Bennett from 49ers Access. We're here to talk for Rams v 49ers Week 10, a divisional matchup, a really important divisional matchup. We're going to talk injuries, of course. We're going to kind of put a cap on the trade deadline backlash. It's been kind of a discussion going on all week, no matter where you look. And I figured we'd talk about it again because it seems to get people riled up when we do. So we'll talk about that. We'll do a score prediction, and we'll talk some Niners. So guys, it's Friday, which means it's 49ers v Rams week. And it looks like nothing's really changed when it comes to the injuries as it was last week. So I'm going to bring up the injury report right now, and we can kind of go over that and talk about what your guys' feelings are on everything, and then we'll get into the other stuff. So I am totally off track today, guys. I apologize.
Don't worry about it. You're doing a great job.
As I try to share the screen here.
Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Just trying to fill the dead air.
So no real surprises here. Ricky Pearsall out. Questionable Brock Purdy, D. Winters, Tatum Bethune, Keon White. The Alfred Collins injury, though, the hip injury, that is definitely something of concern. Kyle said that most of the injuries that have popped up this week happened on the practice field. I wanted to get your guys' opinions on that because we've bitched and moaned and complained about injuries for quite a bit, but the ones that are popping up at practice seem to be essentially every week. So I would love to get your guys' opinion on that.
Dre?
I think it's ridiculous. I think the amount of injuries every single week is there's something up. Look, and am I saying they're all illegitimate? No, but I said this earlier today. I sort of feel like they're over-reporting all these injuries because you're telling me like the Rams only have three guys on the entire roster that have an injury. Everyone else is tip-top. Like, yo, I'm ready to go. Nothing's wrong. I could run a mile right now. I find that to be bullshit. And I think that a lot of teams, they're like, what's wrong with you? My knee is still sore, but I mean, I'm going to play. Okay, cool. And they just don't report it because they're like, it's not that big of a deal. The Niners report everything. They're like, how you feeling? I'm kind of constipated right now. Sore stomach. Did not practice. You know what I mean? Like anything. Like, how you doing? Nothing. My wrist's a little sore, but I mean, I should be good to go. Sore wrist. Limited. It's just like, it feels like anything that's wrong, they're going to report it on their injury report because I've never seen so many players on an injury report. And on top of that, on Wednesday, when they posted the injury report, Michael Williams was listed on there. Now, look, maybe it's because they haven't put him on IR yet. I don't know. But I didn't see Nick Bosa on there. I didn't see Fred Warner on there. But Michael Williams is there saying did not practice out or whatever. And I'm like, well, yeah, he tore his ACL. Why would he even be on this fucking list? So it's just a little weird.
Yeah, I try not to make much of the questionable portion of the injury report.
I got Benali turning on me now too. Thanks. nice to see you too.
I just show.
That there might be something to what Dre's getting at as San Francisco oversharing. I also do think that, at least when it comes to the practice field with guys getting hurt, I think Kyle Shanahan said that Collins, White, and I don't know if it was Winters or Bethune, like all three of those happened in the early portion of Thursday's practice, and they had to change how their practice went because of it, which is funny because without knowing the exact reason, you can certainly look towards the Niners redid their entire practice field this summer, the whole thing. Like they stripped the entire thing out, flipped it around, made it vertical for whatever they were doing to have joint practices, and then redid it all again after joint practices were over with. Like they've moved that turf. What is happening with the screen?
What are we doing?
Like the Niners have done this and redid the field twice. it's like I think they have to report the injuries. The last thing you want to be is the Baltimore Ravens and don't report the Lamar Jackson stuff, and the league comes in and investigates and you get screwed over because of it. So I think they're over-reporting to avoid getting docked with a fine or something.
Probably.
Sure. I think Michael is on there because, like you said, Dre isn't on IR yet, so they have to, legally have to. Which I think he'll probably be placed on IR if Ben Barch comes off this Sunday, which is a good thing for San Francisco. Get some more depth in that room. But I just maybe it's because I'm used to it now. Maybe it's because we're here. We've been here for a long time. It's been the exact same thing almost every single season, especially after last year. It's like, oh yeah, 15 guys are hurt. Are we expecting something new? Are we expecting guys to be healthy all year? And so maybe I've just kind of grown used to you're going to have a decimated roster every single Sunday, and you kind of get into the kind of the routine of that. But I don't think anybody I don't look at San Francisco more banged up this Sunday. Oddly enough, I think they're getting healthier, which is weird to say because so many guys are out. But Ben Barch may come back, Jake Brendel's back, however bad that is. Bryce Huff is coming back this Sunday. You may get some other guys back over the next course of the couple weeks, but it sucks. But that's kind of the way things are.
I mean, the injuries that happen in game that are kind of you can't help, getting rolled over on your ankle, blowing your ACL out in a stadium that's known for knee injuries. That's whatever. That I call that happenstance. It's just whatever. But the practice ones are really telling for me, because that's kind of the stuff where it's you're not in it. Like I said, I was watching Grant and I was watching Dre. You're not in a game. You're practicing. How do they practice? Are they practicing full go? Or do they practice at a certain level of intensity that gets guys hurt? Can something be done about that?
Well, don't forget, there was that report a couple of years ago. They were practicing in pads on Thursday, and most teams weren't.
That's crazy.
And that may have changed, but Shanahan is known to say the way you make it through the season is building up that callus. Well, unfortunately, half these guys don't have calluses. They have season-ending injuries.
These calluses are tearing.
Yeah, literally.
I don't understand that. I feel like everything should be an option when you have this kind of situation all the time. And I mean, Kyle and John are as stubborn as they come, especially Kyle. We were watching off stream before we got on. We were watching the press conference. We can't put it on here for copyright reasons, but there was a little bit of a challenge coming from Kyle Shanahan from Grant Coney. Asked him why I think Brandon Ayuk was playing basketball.
No, Ricky Pearsall.
Ricky Pearsall was playing basketball in the locker room.
Yeah.
And I'm not a big fan of Grant, but I like that kind of question. And Kyle did not take very well with that. I want to know what you guys thought about that. What the fuck are you
Kyle's
doing?
Response?
It was pretty terse.
Yeah, he was pissed. He was like, yeah, well, I mean, you can play basketball. Just can't play football. Any one of us can go out there and shoot hoops. It's not playing football. He's not running and cutting at his full speed. So yeah, he's not ready to come back. But he said it with much more disdain than that.
I also think it's pretty crappy to snitch in the locker room, though. It's a good question, but you are allowed in the locker room. That is a private meeting. You are not allowed to report on things happening in the locker room unless they are said to, I believe.
And he mentioned that on the stream that I had with him today, but I didn't think he was going to ask that question to Kyle Shanahan. I was like, oh God. So
it's I don't know. But also I have torn my UCL before. I was still playing catch and playing basketball as I rehab for baseball. It's not like you can't do other things. He's not running routes. He's not cutting. He's digging around in the locker room, shooting hoops, probably relatively stationary. That's a big difference than running routes on air against defensive backs or against nobody. There is some slight differences in that. All the guys play basketball in the locker room, all the time. Guys that are, on crutches are sitting in chairs shooting hoops. You can't do that either. It's just doesn't mean something, sure, but it's not that big of a deal.
So here's the full list injury report as of Thursday. So as of yesterday, Rams only got 3 players. I find that hard to believe. I find it hard to believe that nobody else on the team has a sore shoulder or nothing. It's just crazy to me.
Well, they have a Keller Witherspoon on IR. So there's 4 guys.
Okay.
But
Well,
not San Francisco's 35.
Yeah, and look at this list. It's huge. Now,
Yeah.
and that's what she said. But look, who's going to play off this list? Okay?
Yeah.
I would say Brendel probably plays, even though I like what Hennessy's doing. Bethune will play. Collins will play. Davis will play. Huff will play. Juwan Jennings is going to play. Mac Jones is going to play. Darrell Luter will suit up. McCaffrey will play.
Yeah.
No Pierce Hall, no Purdy. Keon White, there's Michael, and why he's there for. Trent Williams and D. Winters, they're all going to play. So out of this whole list, 3 guys aren't going to play.
Yeah. And
while you look up top,
has a season-ending injury.
Yeah, and you look up top, it's like Puka Nacua. Well, they already say he's going to play.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess he had a pre-existing injury, so you have to give an update on the status. I guess from limited to full. But based on this, it's just saying that like the Rams have no injuries, that they're ready to rock. So it does have me worried a bit about, why the Niners have this many injuries. But like we said, they're all going to play except for 3 players that we know are out: Pearsall, Purdy, and Michael Williams.
Yeah, and all 3 of those injuries, and we'll touch on that in a bit, are like the ones that are asked about on almost a weekly basis. And the information that's given back doesn't really change whatsoever.
Oh, no.
I got it.
Okay. I was like, that's good. That's good. Leave it right there. Woo, woo!
It's custom layout 8. So
8? How do you have that many?
I don't know. Because go ahead, guys.
Are we sure Alfred Collins is playing on Sunday?
I think he's going to, because you kind of have to. I mean, he's got a hip injury.
Can't.
Well, CJ West is going to have to play, which I want to see more of CJ West. I don't know why he's being, not allowed to. He's inactive. Like what?
Yeah.
That sounds kind of strange to me, but
Yeah, the talk was he was limping on the practice field.
Yeah,
but he was in uniform.
He was a big contributor in the first game, though, and he's done a great job at stopping the run as well. But I think with him, it'll be more of a game time decision to see how he feels on Sunday.
Yeah,
they're going to be at home. He doesn't have to travel, so I think that's going to be a game time decision. But I think everybody else is good to go. We know Bryce Huff, and they even said too, Bryce Huff, hamstring, he'll be back in a couple of weeks. It's been a couple of weeks, and he's like, yeah, he's back. So they knew exactly when he was going to come back.
Am I wrong to want to hold out Alfred Collins and just say, like, yeah, if we win or lose, whatever, like, beat the Cardinals next Sunday matters more than this game does to me? Like,
well, I mean, yes and no.
Not matters more, but like, this kind of feels like a loss. Maybe like I'm not trying to be like, oh, this team isn't good. They're not good enough. They beat it early in the year.
Debbie Downer over here.
I feel the same
way. Like the Rams, although beating them is very plausible, I think they can. But like, if Collins is, let's say, 60%, you're not playing. I'm sorry. Like, you have become an integral part of this run defense and pass rush now. You can't risk getting hurt against the Rams and being out for 4 more weeks again. Like, if you're 60%, I don't want you playing at all. I'd rather have Clea Davis and Elliott and Keon White and West and William Bradley King on the interior if you can. Like, I don't want to risk my best defensive tackle being out for the rest of the year now.
Yeah, bring up Valdez. Bring him off the practice. I know they won't, but shoot, why not, right?
I'd have to.
So, I'm going to talk about, I was watching Dre, and Grant said something interesting. He said that the Niners have had this injury situation for 9 years, and it's still a problem.
Longer than that.
It's probably going to go back to the collective bargaining agreement, probably 2011. As soon as practices got, made into like patty cake time where you don't actually hit anymore and you don't get into pads until like the 5th day of practice, which is weird to me. Because it was like 2-a-days back in the old days was like, these were long ass practices and guys for some reason were dinged up, but never injured. I don't know. Different era, whatever. I'm an old guy. I complain about it all the time, but my whole thing is I'm sick of talking about it. You guys, your opinion as a fan, frustration level, do you think it is plausible, or do you think it is possible that they take some sort of action after the season and at least look into it? Like, you have to, right? Like, this is ridiculous. Everyone's like, because I'm hearing all the talk about trades we didn't make, and it's always like the talk is next year. I was listening to you and Larry, and it's like, but next year is not always guaranteed that we're going to be healthy next year. So that's the fear I have as a fan. So if that's the fear that I have, shouldn't something be done? Like anything? Like,
no, I don't. To be honest, I don't think anything's going to happen, because I think the Niners are going to say, no, we like our guys. We like everyone we have in the room. The biggest injuries were Nick Bosa, Fred Warner, Micah Williams, all of which happened outside of the training facility, all of which happened on freak injuries that happened during the game. If those were injuries that happened as they were playing, like, oh, my hamstring, or I tore it, or, something crazy, then you could say, okay, something's got to be really reevaluated. But the three biggest ones happened during the game. They were freak injuries, and it just kind of happened. So I don't think they're going to. I know we can, rant, we can rant and rave and say how much they should make a change, and I think they should evaluate their personnel, but I don't think they're going to. I really don't.
Yeah, I think they should. They should look into their training staff and look into the training regimens they have, and I don't think the Niners' concern, I don't think fans' concern really should be with the in-game injuries when it comes to torn ACLs and turf toe and Ricky Pearsall's PCL. Like, those things are in-game things. They're going to happen. It sucks. It stinks. That's the reality of football, though. It's a tough game. They're gladiators out there. It's physical. Guys are going to get hurt during games. However, to me, the bigger issue is when you have guys like Jacob Cowling who, strain their hamstring in April, in May, and they can't play in training camp. They can't play out for one game in the preseason without re-injuring it. Cowling has had 4 hamstring strains this year, and every time he's about to come back, he hurts it again. Now, whether that is because it isn't fully healed yet and he's trying to push his way back, I don't know, but that's the reporting out there by Matt Barrows of The Athletic. That's a problem. Whether it's the training staff or it is the player himself, whether it is Brock Purdy coming back too soon from a turf toe, being rushed back either by himself or the training staff. This would not be the first time this training staff has rushed back players. It happened in 2020, Jimmy Garoppolo. Comes back against the Dolphins, clearly not 100%, and he gets benched and he's out for the rest of the year. Now, I'm not saying that's what's happening this season, but take guys like Yetur Gross-Matos. Robert Saleh on Tuesday or on Wednesday says, hey, he's going to come back. That's the expectation. Later on that day in practice, he hurts his hamstring again and is now out for a month. It's things like that. It's the hamstring strains, the soft tissue injuries that you look at and you go, something is happening. No other team has these things happening over and over again. I think Johnny Dell's one of our favorites has said most teams suffer 4 hamstring injuries per season. San Francisco has 4 hamstring injuries per player. That's how crazy it is.
Per player.
Well, that's what it's like.
They only have 2 hamstrings.
Well, it's like I hurt the right one. That one's now healed. I hurt the left one. That one's now healed. And then I re-injured him again. That to me is the recurring problem of it's the soft tissue hamstring strains compared to actual serious season-ending stuff that happens during the actual games.
Well, and you look at George Kittle. He comes back. He's like, yeah, I actually tore my hamstring. Whoa, wait, what?
Yeah.
Nobody knew that. The training staff, obviously, they knew that, and the coaches knew that, but nobody else knew that. The beat writers didn't know that. And you would think that, if there was a narrative of, hey, we're hurt, that they would have said, hey, just to let you guys know, he tore his hamstring. Oh, my God. Okay, yeah, keep him out. He's got to get better. But no, they didn't even tell anybody that. That was weird. It's kind of like, oh, okay. You could have easily have disclosed that, and everyone would have gave you the benefit of the doubt for keeping him out of the game.
The Niners lying on injuries? Who would have thought?
Who would have thought? I mean, really, it really comes down to, narrative control. Yeah. I think they learned a lot from Jimmy Garoppolo. I think, having Jimmy here and all the drama that ensued from injuries and wanting to come back and then not wanting to come back and then forcing him to come back, I think they realized, okay, we need to control what they know about our team in terms of like their status, because we don't want this to happen again. And because I mean, with Jimmy, it got ugly. And look,
they want to replace him because of it.
I mean, an NFC title game against the Eagles. If Jimmy was in a much better place with the franchise, I think he would have said, "Hey, you need me to suit up on the title game as a backup? I'll do it."
Sure.
And think about if he would have came in, if he was at all healthy enough to throw the football, that would have been that's a completely different situation.
Yeah.
I just think I think it gets to a point where it's every year. It's not just a one-off. I've had this argument with a certain individual on X all the time, and he's just like, "Well, the Bills are hurt or this team's hurt." I'm like, I understand, but that's like one-off, dude. This is like it is a rare year for the league. The whole league's hurt this year.
The whole league is hurt.
The Niners are always hurt. All the time, every year. 2023 was the most healthiest they've ever been. And guess what happened? Wow, they went to the Super Bowl. Go figure. Healthy team, talented, that doesn't have a bunch of guys in T-shirts. One year that really pissed me off more than anything was the 2020 season where you had Kittle in the box, Bosa in the box, and all these guys sitting in the box. And I'm like, fuck you. Like, I was so irritated with that. Like,
well, it's not like they chose to get hurt. Like, hey guys, let's get hurt.
They were holding him out.
I want to piss off Aaron.
Just the visual of like,
I know it's frustrating.
I'm still a millionaire. I'm up here. Like, I hate it.
That's not the visual. It's more of like, hey, our entire roster's out. Look, all the millions of dollars we're wasting because all these guys aren't healthy right now.
Right. It's the old proverbial. You smell that? Oh, that's payroll. It's burning. Yeah.
So again, do we think that, especially this year, are they reporting every single injury? Because it's like, hey, look, let's just cover our bases and say, hey, everybody's fucking hurt. And so every week, the other team is like, look at their injury report. These guys are all banged up. This will be, it gives them an advantage. Like, hey, we got this.
I think a big indication of that is the Christian McCaffrey week 1 stuff. Like, out of nowhere, calf injury, and we're like, wait, what's going on?
Remember that? Calf injury.
He was healthy all summer. He was healthy all training camp. Like, didn't play a single snap in the preseason. Walking into week 1 on Thursday, boop, Christian McCaffrey. Everyone was like, what the hell's going on? He might not play. He might play. Like, what's happening? Then he plays. He hasn't missed a single snap all year. Might win the Offensive Player of the Year award. I do think there is a little bit of gamesmanship. There is a little bit of
I think so.
If you're nicked up, like, we're going to report that. And even if it is minor, maybe they'll some way, like, I don't know, it might skew stuff in some direction. But, like, I also think in the same breath, like, San Francisco also lies all the time. They're not transparent to anybody. The Kittle thing, the cowing stuff, they hide things from the media, which they have a right to, whatever. Like, if they don't want to, come clean on things, whatever, like, that's their prerogative. But, like, I think it's when you have all these injuries that then it becomes like, okay, like, something's up. Either you're lying or you're hiding something, and that makes fans frustrated. But there really isn't a consistent nature of the 49ers. So, like, that's the issue.
I like how it chipped us.
There's no consistency.
Let's go. And I want to kind
He's
of
injured everywhere.
I want to tilt this conversation now to a couple of players.
Okay.
And the first one, that when I was frustrated weeks ago, and Sterling's like, Aaron, relax. It'll be okay. And it was the
That's
Brandon
every
Ayuk.
week, Aaron.
Yeah, well, I know you talk me off the ledge all the time. But the Brandon Ayuk one, remember early in the season, they said possible week 6. Kyle said it. And then he kind of said, but more like between week 6 and week 10 could be a potential return. Now he could return at some point in the season. Like, and then it was like he could return towards the end of the season, like if he's healthy. Like, there's no concrete answer. Nobody knows anything. A lot of fans, including myself, think Brandon Ayuk doesn't come back this year, and it's all going to depend on how the Niners do in the next couple weeks. Like if they start to just bottom out and start losing a bunch of games, he doesn't come back. If they might be able to make a playoff push and become a wild card team, you might see him back. I just like, man, I don't even give a crap about the injury report because I know I'm not going to learn anything new. I'm the frustration with the Brandon Ayuk one. I know he tore everything up. I get that. I always felt that like with these type of injuries, like you miss the next season, like you automatically miss a whole season the next season when you tear your knee up. And so like, is that really been the plan the whole time? And they just been kind of given tidbits of information that they don't really know about? Do they really believe he's going to come back? Or is it going to be more like it was in the past? Maybe say maybe like 15 years ago where the guy blows his ACL out the previous year. He doesn't come back the next year. He comes back the following season. So I don't know.
I think you have 4 games before the bye week. The Rams, Cardinals, Panthers, Browns. If you go 4-0, he's coming back. If you go 1-3, maybe not. But I think if he's going to come back, Brandon Ayuk, he's going to come back week 15 against the Titans, and that's coming off the bye week. And I think you open up his practice window probably the week of the Carolina Panthers or the Browns. You let him practice for 2 to 3 weeks, and then he's back with the Niners. That's my prediction. Is it going to happen? Who the hell knows? I'm not a mind reader. Ask my wife. But still, I think if he's ever going to come back, it's going to be week 15, right after the bye against the Tennessee Titans. I think that's the safest place to bring Brandon Ayuk back. It's at home. It's against a crappy Titans team. That's prime Brandon Ayuk return date. The other thing, too, is that I know we're talking about Brandon Ayuk, but like that could also be the return date for Brock Purdy. I mean, do you bring back Brock in this critical stretch of 4 games, 3 of which are extremely winnable games, Arizona, Carolina, and the Browns? Do you risk bringing back Brock, who hasn't played in a number of weeks, and say, hey, go out there and get us a win? Or do you wait until after the bye when you know exactly where you're at? Because after that, that's the hardest part of the schedule, that's left. I mean, Tennessee sucks, but then you got the Colts, the Bears, and the Seahawks. 2 of those 3 teams are really good. Sterling, what do you think?
Yeah, I don't think the Niners are going to base Brandon Ayuk's return on their record. I think that'd be pretty reckless of them to even really have those 2 things coincide. I get it, though. If they're playing good football, you have the luxury of bringing him back and maybe having, one of your better offensive players back on the football field, kind of getting his feet wet with a winning record, and maybe you can afford to lose a game during one of those and kind of give yourself some leeway with his recovery. I think he does come back this year. I think that the Niners are being coy. They are taking things really slow, as they should. I think that Ayuk's recovery is trickier than someone that tears their ACL or breaks a hand or whatever. I think it's more acute to like maybe a torn Achilles, because those things are so tricky. Mm-hmm. And he tore the MCL, the PCL, the ACL, all of those things were gone, and there was more damage done to his knee. I think that we kind of feel like, because you just hear the ACL tear and that's the assumption, okay, he'll be out for a year, which I think is the case, and he already has been. But he is right now, I believe, going into 3 weeks removed from the 1-year anniversary of the injury. Usually it takes you a year to kind of get yourself back in shape and in the fray and kind of back in the mold. Then it takes a few weeks to kind of get yourself back on the football field, which I just think it'd be wise of them to take things very slow with him. Mm-hmm. The last thing you want is to bring a guy back for a playoff run, and then boom, knee's gone again. He's out for another year, right? So I'm all for them taking things slow with him. I think he does return, though, at some point this year. The reason why the window hasn't been opened up yet, because if it is open, then he has to practice with the team. And if he isn't practicing with the team or isn't ready yet, then you're wasting time. And I don't think San Francisco wants to waste their time with him. I think you look at games like against, maybe it's the last 3 games of the season he comes back, like Dre said, Titans and somebody else, and Seattle week 18, barring that game actually being important. But I don't see a reason as to why he couldn't fulfill DeMarcus Robinson's role in the offense in the meantime. Like, what is Robinson doing on most games?
He's just dropping deep balls is what he's doing.
or maybe catching 2-point conversions that don't matter in games. But I think Ayuk returns. I don't know. Maybe it's a gut feeling. I just think that I also wonder if there is maybe some sort of, well, yes, it is beneficial to get him back on the football field, get him some reps before going into the offseason. I do wonder if there maybe is someone in the front office being like, hey, if you want to see any return on your investment, you better not play him at all this year and protect yourself and the assets you have now. I have no idea if that's true. Obviously, it's pure speculation and theory, but I think with the Ayuk thing, there is definitely an open door to there being more than just Kyle and John and the team doctors. This front office hated that deal. Ayuk has had a lingering beef with the team for a while, albeit things are better now. That existed for a handful of weeks. And so there is some underlying tension still there, and I wonder if that could be a case of Ayuk returning or not this season.
Yeah, just Joseph Ernberg just said, he's like, I think BA doesn't play another game in a Niner uniform. I mean, that's always a possibility. Well, I hope it's not, because to be honest with you, like you said, Demarcus Robinson has offered absolutely nothing since he's been came back from the suspension. Yeah. Hell,
I mean, the team has leaned heavily on Kendrick Bourne and Juwan Jennings as their primary receivers these past few weeks. Getting a guy like Ricky Pearsall, which you would hope he would have came back this week, not going to happen. I don't know when he's going to come back. I don't see a target day for him. I think it's just when he feels 100%. With that being said, like I was saying, if the Niners, this is a crucial stretch. If the Niners win 4 games straight, then that changes everything. If the Niners are competitive, then it's like, hey, let's get him back in here. We're on fire right now. We went 4 in a row. Let's keep it going. If they lose 3 out of 4 and things are looking more bleak than positive, I think they'll say, hey, look, we don't want to rush you back. We want to make sure you're 100%. And look, when you talk about rushing a player back from injury, there's no worse example than Kevin Durant with the Warriors. Yep. When they rushed him back in the NBA Finals and he blew out his Achilles. That was the absolute worst case scenario of any, we got to get you back out there, injury. I mean, it had Bob Myers crying at the podium because he felt so horrible that the guy's going to miss the entire following season. And so last thing you want to do is to rush BA back, and then he hurts himself again, and then he's out for an even longer period of time. So regardless if they're good or if they're bad, I do agree with what Sterling's saying. I think they're going to make sure that he's 100% because he's getting paid a ton of money. And they're like, hey, if you want to make sure this guy is earning his money, he's got to be 100%. There can be no risk involved with rushing him back in any form or fashion. So I think week 15, after the bye, I think it gives them plenty of time to work him back in. If not, then who knows?
What about the Pearsall situation? Because PCL injury is what Christian McCaffrey had last season. Is that another one of those things where they just don't know when it's going to get better? They said it's been tricky.
Well, I mean, McCaffrey went on the record last year after the season saying, if we would have made the playoffs, I would have been ready to go. I was like, oh, which that would have been cool to see. But with Pearsall, again, I think that's another case of when you feel 100%, then we'll play you. Because he's a first-round pick. Again, You don't want to rush him back because I bet you those PCL injuries, I bet you if you get him back too early, that's going to turn into a ruptured PCL or a ruptured ACL because then your other tendons are having to do double time to stabilize your knee. And so I think with how many ACL injuries they have this year, they're like, dude, just give it more time. We're still in it. We're 6-3. We won last week. It's going to be a week-by-week thing when it comes to Ricky Pearsall.
What about I forgot what I was going to say about Pearsall, but what about the talk that surrounds Pearsall? Some people say that he's been a bad draft pick because of the injury. He's another Kyle Shanahan mistake.
He's not a Dante Pettis. Dante Pettis, we knew he was bad from like when you saw him in preseason. I was like, "Ooh, this guy doesn't look all that impressive."
Bro was licking his hands like a cat. I was like, I don't want that dude on my team.
But Pearsall, I mean, look, we saw him making strides last season when he came back from his gunshot wound, which that was not in the cards for him to get shot. And this season, when he's been healthy and been out there, he's been a difference maker as a receiver. We've seen him make one-handed catches already.
Right.
The guy definitely has ability and skill.
No,
I just think his knee is just so banged up that's like, hey, he's a first-round pick. And I think there's a little bit of pressure on the front office to say, hey, look, he's our first-round pick. We cannot let him become a Jalen Hurd where he's hurt. We rush him back, hurt again, and he's out. I mean, Jalen Hurd never even really came back, but they don't want him to be a case of this guy's injured and he can't stay healthy. They want to give him as much time as possible to get healthy while they're still winning games. Sterling?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, not to be angry or emotional about it, but I think people that say Pearsall is a bad pick, less than 2 years through his first couple of years with the team, after being shot during the offseason, after injuring his PCL, playing football, trying to win games for this team is just a bunch of bullshit. Like, we need to stop being so quickly, labeling people bust. We've heard Michael hasn't had a good season. Walter Nolan's better. Walter Nolan's played one game against the Dallas Cowboys offensive line who isn't that good. Like, who cares what other guys are doing on opposing teams when you saw the benefits of Michael Williams through weeks 1 through 9? Like, that's ridiculous. Walter Nolan missed the first 9 games of the season. Like, what are we doing? And then you have Pearsall, who I think, he's not made of glass. He's somebody that has been relatively healthy throughout the entire time at college. His last 3 seasons, he played every single game, gets the NFL, gets shot in the chest, almost freaking dies. You're lucky he's even alive to play for this team.
Yeah.
Like, that's the luxury. You're lucky he isn't dead. Like, that's part of this. And PCLs are tricky. Those are 6 to 8 week injuries. This is week number 6. I don't like the constant badgering of where is he? Where is he? He's freaking hurt. That's where he's at. If he was healthy, he would play. They don't hold out healthy players. They don't do that, especially first-round draft picks that will help this offense immensely right now. This team can't separate in the open field. They can't get guys open. It is all short, tight window throws unless it's a CMC check down. That's why he's not playing, because he's hurt. Stop asking about it. He'll play when he's ready to play. Yeah. Like, you have to let guys recover on the actual timetables. They need to recover. Yes, this training staff sucks. Yes, the injuries are a big problem. I get that, but guys are hurt. They want to play as bad as anybody else wants to. The more you bitch, the more they want to come back. Like, God forbid somebody tears their PCL and says, oh, boo, we can't come back in 4 weeks. That's not how long PCLs take to recover. That's not how the human body works. Like, it's ridiculous at this point in time to be like, why isn't Ricky Pearsall back? He's made of glass. You tear your PCL and tell me if you can walk in 4 weeks. I guarantee you can't. You ain't playing football. You're out. You might be shooting hoops in the locker room, but guess what? You can't cut. You can't run routes. Like, who cares?
I mean, let's face it. Most fans don't even know what a PCL is. They're like, it's something to do with the knee.
You know what? Until this year, I had no idea what the PCL. Like, I knew of the PCL, but I didn't really know how the injury affects the knee as far as stability goes. I thought it was real. I thought it was real shady that question was asked to Kyle. He wasn't happy about it. The basketball question that you brought up. I don't know about that. That was a low blow. And then, of course, we talked about this. We in the DM chat about quarterback controversy, Brock Purdy, Mac Jones. Is there a controversy? Are the Niners soft benching them, as I like to call it?
No, I don't think so.
That I wanted to get into that. Talk about the Purdy injury, because that's another one where there seems to not be. Kyle said previously this week that it's something that's going to bother him all season. Figured that much, right? It's a turf toe or a turf toe variant. And it's like, as long as Mac's winning, do you even think of ever bringing him back? I personally think, and I know I created a hubbub early in the season by saying, don't bring him back as long as we keep winning. I have kind of walked that one back, and I believe Brock is head and shoulders the better quarterback. I think he does more as far as making and extending plays. And I wouldn't trust a guy like Mac Jones in the playoffs. But let's this is the clip that you wanted me to play, and then we could talk about if there's an actual quarterback controversy. Are they soft benching him or whatever? So
there is a
well, that was a good clip.
quarterback
Short and sweet to the
controversy,
point.
competition, whatever you want in San Francisco. Brock Purdy, really good player. Mac Jones has been absolutely sensational in his time. He has doing it with people that have been beat up, stars and perimeter players that haven't been healthy. He's been knocked around, yet this team somehow, even with all those injuries, is still in the playoff race, and it's because of the quarterback play. There's a quarterback controversy brewing in San Francisco.
there you go. Same old shit.
I think you could say that, but until Brock plays, you don't really have much for controversy because he's injured. If he goes out there and plays, if Brock were to come back, let's just say he comes back, if he were to come back this Sunday and he played really good, he threw for 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, over 300 yards, everyone would say that it'd be over. Okay, Brock's the guy. If Brock comes back, throws 2 picks, throws for 170 yards, mediocre game, a Geno Smith type game, then everyone would say he sucks. Because, I mean, it's the NFL. It's what have you done for me lately?
Yep,
and so, but until he plays, you can't really say much. He played in week 4, but he was obviously hurt that week. Because when you compare that to how he played in week 1, it's very different. So I think that when it comes to Brock Purdy, when it comes to quarterback controversy, I think Mac Jones has done a great job. He's got a PFF rating of 76.4, which I think is probably pretty right on. If he had a quarterback rating on PFF of like 90-something, then he'd be destroying it. 76.4. He's thrown for 1,800 yards, 10 touchdowns. I think he has 5 interceptions, I want to say. 5 interceptions.
Yeah, around there.
So for me, look, I think Mac Jones has done a great job as being the starting quarterback in place of Brock Purdy while he's been hurt. But nothing has shown me that I haven't seen that dynamic ability that when I watch Mac Jones play, I don't look at him and go, dude, this is the guy we need to lock up long term. I don't. I see a very capable, very quality quarterback. But if this was our starter, if this was the guy we went with, and let's say Brock didn't exist, this was our starter, I think a lot of fans would say, we need to find a better quarterback. Because to me, he's doing just enough to win games. And that's great. And I love him for that.
Yep.
The guy's tough, got a great personality. But let's be real here. He's on year 5 of his NFL career. Are we saying that this is his ceiling in terms of performance on the field for Mac Jones? I don't know. Is there a higher level that Mac Jones can reach with his abilities?
I think he's at where he's at. Like to me, Mac Jones is 20 points a game, a couple touchdowns, 1 pick. Niners are solid. He doesn't turn the ball over a whole bunch, but like there's no dynamic stuff with this offense when he's on the field.
But I mean,
you go against good pass rush, and he takes an absolute beating. I mean, Purdy takes a beating too, but I mean, Purdy can give you those extended plays and those plays that could be dead, and all of a sudden he's able to step up in the pocket and hit a guy that's been uncovered because of just how long the play's taking.
I mean, Purdy's best year was in 2023.
Yeah.
We got to the Super Bowl. And even the year before that, he was really good when he came in place of Jimmy Garoppolo. But I mean, we haven't seen a guy show up and just produce the way Brock Purdy has in quite a long time. I think the last time that came even close to that was the year we traded for Jimmy Garoppolo. And he came in on that last drive against, what was it, the Bears? I think it was? No, the Seahawks maybe? And he led them down the field to score a meaningless touchdown. But it was like, whoa, that was cool. And then all of a sudden, we started to see Garoppolo when he started against the Bears. We saw him controlling the offense, controlling the rhythm of the game. We saw a much more developed quarterback. And that's what and to me, I haven't seen Mac Jones and go, man, this guy is running this offense. This guy is in control and dominating. No, I think he's going out there and he's doing enough to win the games. He's making good passes. He's making good decisions. Some of the turnovers I don't think are really his fault. But there's nothing that I've seen from Mac Jones that says, offer this guy a contract. God, what are we waiting for? I think a 2-year deal is exactly what he needed. And I think that he'll be here next year as the backup for Brock Purdy.
Yeah, I think...
I mean, Sterling.
How do I not rant about this?
Well, no, that's fine. That's what we're here for. But Sterling, if you were in charge of the Niners and someone came to you, the ownership came to you and said, hey, what do you think about if we move off of Brock Purdy? Should we sign Mac Jones to a contract? What would you say?
Prime
Kaepernick? But not only, come on. Prime Kaepernick was like Superman.
How would I find a way to be politically correct if somebody approached me with that question? So you want to let go of Brock Purdy, who there isn't out in his contract, albeit there is a lot of dead cap attached to him. Then you want to sign Mac Jones to an extension, thus then paying 2 quarterbacks at the exact same time, big money. Okay, if we're into idiotic ideas, I'll give you some more facts to prove why that's stupid. Because, okay, the reason why people are saying, oh, Mac Jones looks really good. Let's get down to the brunt of it. Because they're winning football games. That's why. If they were losing football games and Mac Jones was playing the exact same way, we'd say, oh, God, we really need Brock Purdy back right now. We can't wait for Brock to get back. The only reason why, or at least a large reason as to why people are saying we got to have Mac Jones stay in there. He's looking good, which he's playing good football. No one's saying he's not. He is playing good football. He's playing on time. He's relatively precise. He's making plays. He's out there with some swag, running the offense as Kyle wants it to be. However, we know Brock's a better playmaker. He's more mobile. And if you dive into the statistics, it is so abundantly clear that anyone pushing the Mac is better than Brock Purdy narrative is so wrong. They shouldn't even be heard, listened to, or even brought to the table. And I'll run it down for you right now. In 2025, with primarily a Mac Jones-led San Francisco 49ers offense, okay, this is this year, 2025. This offense is averaging 21.6 points per game. That is good for 23rd in football behind the Giants, just ahead of the Jets, the Houston Texans, the Miami Dolphins, the Panthers, all teams that most likely aren't very good and are probably going to miss the playoffs this year. The Giants are under 500. The Jets have 1 win, and the Houston Texans don't know who their quarterback is this Sunday, whether it's Stroud or Davis Mills, because one of those guys is hurt. And the Dolphins are actively trying to give Tua Tagovailoa away to opposing teams. Okay, what was last year like for San Francisco, right? No Christian McCaffrey. George Kittle played most of the year, but Deebo Samuel was absolutely terrible. He got rid of him for a 5th-round draft pick. Pearsall missed the first 7 games because he got shot in the chest, right? And Brandon Ayuk missed all from week 7 and on because of the torn ACL, PCL, and MCL. What did that offense average? Oh, funny enough, surprisingly, about 1 more point than this offense is doing now. I'm sorry, Christian McCaffrey is more impactful than Brandon Ayuk is and Ricky Pearsall is. Having him back changes the entire dynamic of San Francisco's offense. It gives somebody a target to throw to every single down. This is the same Christian McCaffrey, albeit older and more injured, yet right now healthy, that made Jimmy Garoppolo look like an MVP candidate for 5 weeks in 2022. We can't forget that, right? This is a mirage we're seeing of Mac Jones. He's playing good football. In reality, like how long can this go for? What about San Francisco's running game? Because it's not just about Mac Jones. In 2025, San Francisco is averaging 97.1 yards per game. What happened last year? What they do last year? No Christian McCaffrey, right? They didn't have their dogs in the backfield. Last year for San Francisco, Jordan Mason started 6 games, played 12 of them, rushed for 789 yards, okay? Christian McCaffrey, through 9 weeks, has nearly 600 yards. The rushing attack is better. The offensive line is better. Like, this team is equally as injured, if not healthier than they were last year on offense. The defense, which is the biggest factor in the entire thing when it comes to winning football games, is significantly better for Mac Jones than it was Brock Purdy last year. Go to the stats once again. This season, San Francisco is 10th in football with allowing 20.9 points per game defensively. Go to last year. They're allowing 25.6 points per game last year. That was 29th in football. You give Brock Purdy a top 10 offense or defense in scoring. They lost last year like 4 games by an average of 4 points. If you flip it, they're a freaking playoff team last year. They're a 10-win team last year. They have a competent special teams unit that ranks 4th in EPA this season. It was 32nd in EPA last year. This is not a Mac Jones versus Brock Purdy debate. This is they didn't win games last year. Now they're winning games this year. That's the only difference. And it's because the defense is top 10 and special teams is top 5. That's the difference. And you have Christian McCaffrey back. If you give Brock Purdy Christian McCaffrey in a top 10 defense, he got you to the freaking Super Bowl. We have to stop with these. Oh, you're drawing up controversy because you want to have the controversy. You want to find something to complain about and bitch about and go, oh, Mac Jones had 4 good games. Oh, my God. Jimmy Garoppolo, you ran him out of town. He's doing the exact same thing. The exact same thing. Yeah, Mac, better arm, sure. Mac, more mobile, maybe. Yeah, more durable, potentially. Have we not seen Christian McCaffrey carry Mac Jones at times this year? Have we not seen Christian McCaffrey carry the entire offense? He's their leading receiver and the leading running back that didn't even play last year. And then it's, Nick Sorensen was there. And like you give Christian McCaffrey and Robert Saleh and Brant Boyer's units to Brock Purdy, they're a playoff team guaranteed. Every year he's playing quarterback. This is a wins and losses league. Mac Jones is winning games. That doesn't mean Brock Purdy can't win you more of them once he's healthy. We have to stop it. We have to stop with the Mac Jones is better than Brock. There's a quarterback controversy. Kyle Shanahan knew in practice he was better than Jimmy Garoppolo, who led him to a Super Bowl. And the first overall pick he gave away 3 first-round draft picks for. Do you not think that guy knows what the hell he's doing? That guy isn't going to go back to the guy that saved his job and helped lead this team to a Super Bowl? Like, it's nonsense. It's nonsense. They averaged more points last year without Christian McCaffrey. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing?
I think the 49ers fan base is extremely spoiled, too.
Well, it's like I said, what have you done for me lately? That's the mindset of almost every NFL football fan is. And so when they haven't seen a guy produce in a number of weeks, they start to say, well, maybe we don't go back to that guy. Now, here's the thing. Mac Jones has 10 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. He's got a quarterback rating of 93.6. If Brock Purdy had these same numbers at this time this season and was not hurt, I can guarantee you the people that are already saying that they should move off of Brock Purdy would be saying the same exact thing about these numbers that Mac Jones has. Saying, well, he threw the interception that cost us the game twice. He's got 5 interceptions. He should have less than that. So it should go both ways. And unfortunately, it's not.
Which that doesn't mean Brock shouldn't be playing better. He should. Brock hasn't been good this year. Like, no one's forgiving that or excusing poor play from Brock Purdy. The Jaguars game, turf toe, probably played a factor into it, but it wasn't inexcusable. It was bad. He's got to play better to earn that $53 million a season. But we just can't be that lost in a 6-3 record, because if this organization truly believed in Mac Jones that much, they would have bought pieces at the deadline. They would have. Don't tell me they wouldn't have, because they would have. If they truly believed in this roster, they would have bought pieces to help them win now and later. They didn't do it. You want to know why? They know there is a ceiling to this team, and part of that is because of Mac Jones' quarterback play. It's good enough to win, maybe even a playoff game. It is not good enough to win everything, and that's what the organization has to shoot for. They know it is not possible with the current quarterback play. It's good enough to win now, but they've beaten the Giants. They beaten the Cardinals by a game-winning field goal. They beat the Saints, who are a bad team. They beat the Rams. They shouldn't have. They should have lost that game easily. Kicker missed field goals. missed a PAT, and the Rams blew 2 goal line stances basically in overtime and the fourth quarter. Shouldn't have won that game. This team could easily be 4-5, 5-4. Like, they lost to the Buccaneers. We're acting like Mac Jones is playing Herculean.
Right.
He's playing pedestrian. And pedestrian, consistent, can win you football games. That's fine. We love winning football games. But there's levels to this. And
right,
Brock Purdy's level ahead Mac Jones.
Right, but at what point do you have to say, okay, we need to stick with Mac if Brock isn't healthy enough? At what point? At what week do you say
Brock shouldn't play?
Right, but I'm saying, like, let's say Brock is healthy by the last week of the season. Do you say, okay, we're going to put Brock back in the game and he's going to lead us in the playoffs? I don't know if you do that, only because I'm not saying anything like, oh, because Mac is better than Brock. What I'm saying is that the continuity. He's been the quarterback for the majority of the season. Do you really take him out and put Brock in and be like, all right, go get him in the playoffs now against an elite team?
If you believe Brock Purdy is your quarterback that you paid all that money to, as an organization, you better damn well play him that last game into the playoffs.
But this is not like Major League Baseball where it's like, oh, get him in the game, he get him the starting, or he's a starting pitcher, let him start. That's totally different. You're controlling the entire offense. You haven't played since week 4.
But you see
what I'm saying, though. You see what I'm saying?
I do, but you also didn't play for 4 months in between the last game of the season and week 1 of the next year. So why does it matter? Like, ask the Baltimore Ravens, and I know Lamar Jackson's healthy.
Okay, you can't. That's different. It's Lamar Jackson.
But you can. The point is that is your week 1 starting quarterback. You believe when healthy gives you the best chance to win every single week. Yes or no?
Yes.
Who? Lamar Jackson?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. The Ravens, if say Lamar missed the entire year, would bring back Lamar over Cooper Rush and Tyler Huntley.
Yeah, but Lamar has won numerous MVP awards.
Sure. Joe Burrow has almost the exact same career path as Brock Purdy. Been to a Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. He lost in it. He's been hurt a couple seasons. This is Brock Purdy, basically. Joe Flacco's playing great football. They're averaging nearly 30 points a game. You cannot tell me the Bengals wouldn't say, hey, actually, sorry, Joe, you're playing great, but Joe Burrow will always give us the best chance to win.
Absolutely. He's the number 1 draft pick.
You go back to your guy. If, like, we have lost this, like, the reality of Brock has been playing better football for longer than Mac Jones has had success in the NFL. Despite Mac Jones being in the NFL longer than Brock Purdy has, like, they were real conversations of Brock because he was an MVP finalist. And I get it. They had the Avengers that year, whatever. But Brock gives you a better chance to win. He always has. Now, he has to be healthy, sure. But if it's week 15, week 7, week 18, like, he's going to play because he should. He's your starting quarterback. Like, Bo Bichette in the World Series didn't play the entire playoffs. World Series comes, I'm playing second base. You want to know why? I give us the best chance to win. And they should have won the whole damn thing.
They should have won the whole thing. That was ridiculous. He played hella good in the World Series.
Like, you don't not play your best players. If Nick Bosa could come back on the defensive line, but they're playing good enough.
Okay,
so Nick Bosa, wouldn't you bring back Fred Warner if they could play in the playoffs?
Well, absolutely. Okay, so let me ask you this. If the Niners go into the wild card round in the playoffs, and they're playing against, I don't know, the Seahawks.
I think they will.
And Brock's like, okay, I'm ready and I'm cleared. Do you bring back Brock Purdy for that first game, or do you stick with Mac Jones, who's gotten you all the way here?
Nope. Who do you think gives you the best chance to win?
Brock.
You will always play the guy you believe gives you the best chance to win. And this Niners organization, this regime, clearly believes Brock gives them the best chance to win. Now, it may backfire. Brock can look rusty, but you will take that chance every single time knowing the chance of winning that game is exponentially higher with him on the field than off of it. Hey, this is not rocket science. I'm not targeting you here, Dre.
No, not at all.
Saying what people were saying. Like, people were saying, oh, well, Mac is the hot hand. You don't play hot hands at quarterback when you have the quarterback in place you want to play. Like, this is not hot potato. This is not running back by committee. Like, this is your franchise quarterback. You don't dick that guy around. If he's healthy, you play. If he's not healthy, he doesn't play. It's that simple. Right?
But I mean, they did dick around Jimmy Garoppolo when he was our franchise quarterback for a while, and that went south.
That's different though. They didn't dick Jimmy around. He was good in 2019, got hurt in 2020. They realized, hey, we signed you to a big deal. You missed 2 seasons of the 3-year contract you've been under already. Like, we have to find somebody more durable for the offense. And guess what? That also backfired. They got Trey Lance. He was terrible. They cost them 3 first-round draft picks, and Jimmy Garoppolo saved that season for them before Brock saved that season again later. Like,
well, and that's my point with Mac Jones. Like, this is year 5 of Mac Jones, and this is what we're getting out of a year 5 first-round talent quarterback.
In the best offense he's ever played in with
yeah, everything has been upgraded for him. And
Shanahan
this is the best we're getting.
Mac Jones.
Yeah. And everyone keeps saying, like, oh, Mac is out there just balling. He's looking sharp. I think he looks good, but I don't think he looks dynamic. I don't think he looks...
Every game we've played this year has usually come down to the last possession or the last quarter. You know, it has... What game this year...
Every game is the same.
Yeah, even the Atlanta game where you guys... even the Atlanta game, I wasn't, like, thinking that we had it until we had it.
The Giants game was the only game that I did not feel nervous whatsoever. I was like, they're not going to keep this up. Even their opening touchdown, I was like, they won't keep that up. And they didn't. They got worse as the game went on. And then I was actually pissed that they allowed them to score 2 more touchdowns. Because really, it's like, that should have been a game where your defense dominated them. Now, I know the defense has injuries, but they allowed Jackson Dart to have a good quarterback rating. He threw for 2 touchdowns. I kind of wish they were able to keep them at 17 points, not let them score all the way up to 24.
Yep.
But still, that was a game that they should have won. And they knew that. They knew, hey, we should beat these guys.
Can I ask you guys this?
What?
And I think it'll settle the Purdy Mac Jones debate. If like, nameless quarterback, don't attach anybody to it. If you saw San Francisco's offense this year with a no-name quarterback, could be anybody. The way they've won football games, the way games have ended, don't forget, took a Herculean Jake Tuntis touchdown in the corner of the end zone. And don't forget, they had to have a Nick Bosa strip sack to end that game anyways. Then they had, against the Saints, had to have a Bryce Huff game-winning strip sack to win that one. Week 3 against the Cardinals, a game-winning field goal, and it took an up and stout PBU to save that game for the offense in return.
Yep.
Like, the defense has won them more games than the offense has this year. The offense has been, and this is a great thing, really consistent all year besides one game, and that was the Houston Texans game. They've been consistent all year long. The exact same team every single week. And that exact same team is really efficient, but they don't put up a lot of points. They hit about 3 field goals a game, and they don't put teams away ever, besides the Giants. Do you believe that team is good enough to, 1, go to the playoffs, and 2, win a game in the playoffs with the way they're operating?
I do.
Okay. Now, do you think they can go far in the playoffs? Because this team feels like a 1 round and done, maybe 1 upset victory, then it's over with, right? They're that limited because of the team.
But I mean, when you look at the rest of the NFC, other than the Philadelphia Eagles, there's no monster juggernaut team out there in the NFC.
Rams are 6-2. They're playing good football. One of the best.
But if you beat the Rams this week, I mean, you swept the series from them. Obviously, it's hard to beat a team 3 times, especially if you face them again in the playoffs.
It happened in 2021. Don't forget that.
Then you can argue it's tough to beat a team 4 times, and they couldn't. They couldn't do it the 4th time.
Well, my point more is the Niners swept the Rams in 2021 to go to the playoffs.
Yeah.
They beat them in overtime at their own place in Week 18.
So it was 3 times. It was 3 times. Yeah.
Yeah.
The 3rd time they couldn't get it done.
Right. And it's just like the Niners might not even be as good as Seattle this season. And I don't think that's crazy to say.
Why do I keep saying, and I get a lot of grief for this, when I say the Niners have been winning smoke and mirrors, I truly believe that. Like, if you watch the games, like as a like being honest with yourself, like, I don't have the most comfortable feeling in any of these games, especially when Mac is playing. Like, Mac either plays, like, I can't say exceptional. He either plays solid, or they play a team and he can't move and he's just getting beaten up. And just like any other quarterback, if you put enough heat on a guy, and you're hitting a guy enough, he starts making mistakes. This team has won with moxie. They've won with big plays at the end of games that you had to have. They lost the same type of games last year. Like they were losing those same type of games. The Niners are talent-wise, and I've said this before, they have a talent deficit, massive talent deficit on this team right now. Like you cannot tell me, like roster for roster, like every team we go against, like the Rams are healthy. Yeah, maybe their secondary is boo-boo, but they got one of the best pass rushes in the game. The 49ers can't really rush the passer. They're average to below average against the run most games. And their secondary is gettable. They don't really do anything great on defense. And offensively, they're a Christian McCaffrey injury away from being what they were last season. So, like, the Niners are winning with a lot of smoke and mirrors, a lot of gusto and toughness, gritty wins.
I would say it's not smoke and mirrors from the sense
I don't like the
of,
term smoke and mirrors. That sounds like they're just faking it to make it.
Yeah. But I think what Aaron's getting at more so is like,
I get
the reason you're using smoke and mirrors is because you don't believe in the long-term sustainability of this.
Exactly.
Well, yeah.
That's exactly what I'm trying to say. Like when I watch these games, I'm projecting. When I watch games as a fan, even when I was younger, like when your team's really good. Like we knew in 2023 that there was a good chance we were healthy, we were putting up a ton of points, the defense was flying all over the place.
2019.
We had some injuries though in 2019. Remember, Ronald Blair got hurt. He was a really good pass rusher.
DJ Jones got hurt.
DJ Jones got hurt. D Ford got hurt, and they had to shoot up his back pretty much to get him to the Super Bowl. And then
5 of the last 6 seasons have been, wow, Niners are really good.
Yeah,
and it.
But I mean, it goes to show you what they can do, especially this coaching staff. I mean, look. A few years ago, they got to the NFC title game, lost to the Rams, almost got the Super Bowl. Then they got there again with Brock Purdy against the Eagles, tore his elbow.
Yeah.
The rest was history. So the team has been competitive for a number of years. Remember the game against the Packers in the snow?
I wanna
Willis
transition
with the block punt. My God.
I want to transition out of the injury talk because it's been going for a while. I don't know much longer you guys have to talk.
I'm done.
You're done?
I can go all day.
Okay, so we're talking about injuries. We're talking about the team is good enough.
Yeah.
Sure enough, trade deadline comes and goes, and the Niners don't make a pick. Good. I have been on both sides of the argument. I was watching Sterling last night with Larry, and when Larry was talking, I was down with Larry, and when Sterling was talking, it's weird because I kind of feel it from both sides. I get both sides of the argument. I think the way I feel about the team, I think is kind of similar what I think John and Kyle feel about the team inside the building. They weren't one player away from being able to go win this thing. This team is hampered. They have a ton of injuries. It's just this doesn't feel like a Super Bowl championship type year. So I would love to get your talk, like the one last kind of, what are you guys laughing at?
Kenny's comments.
I tried to. I was told I needed to let him finish.
Wait, he told you that?
Yeah, it was really funny. I love it.
What do you say? Wait, let me finish.
It was more of the heat of the argument. It was so funny. Love it. I love it.
Oh no, the show last night?
I scolded Sterling last night.
No, it was awesome.
You were getting yelled at.
Quiet down, the men are talking right now, and that's me.
It was like two guys in the bar having a heated conversation, and that's why we're here. Like that's what we do. We're passionate.
Now I gotta listen to it now.
I love Larry. Shut up. I love Larry, but I think I would have took Sterling in that fight. You got the youth.
Larry could bench me and snap me in half. Like
Larry's a pretty big guy.
Dude. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Larry could take me.
So do you feel the same? Because like a fan will say something like, "I don't think we have what it takes," and people will say, "Well, you're a crappy fan if you don't believe the Niners have a shot, just like everybody else does."
Yeah, it's
with the
BS.
Niners not making a move, was that an indictment? Not a negative indictment, like they just don't like. Do you think that was an indictment that this team just isn't good enough, even with a player at the deadline to go make that run? And do you guys like? I know Dre, you wanted us to be more aggressive, and I know Sterling was like, unless it's right and it doesn't hurt the team long term, then don't make it. So like I'll love to hear from you guys as we kind of round out this argument this Friday.
I guess for me, you could argue, what's his name? Jermaine Johnson from the Jets. Is this a case where whoever you get in the second round, is he going to be better than him?
Yeah.
Based on the way they've drafted, it's hard to say yes because they haven't done a very good job with their draft pick, especially in first round, second round.
Yeah.
So that's why it's kind of like, well, maybe you should have made the trade and brought him in here. Now, I don't remember, is Johnson under contract for next year or is he a rental?
Yeah, it's a 5th-year option, so you're paying him relatively elite money next year.
Yeah. So, I mean, at least you have some kind of control over him for next season. But I think this team has been so banged up. This team, to me, a metaphor for this team is Mac Jones. We've seen Mac Jones go out there, play in absolute pain, play through injury, and find a way to get it done, right? And we can't argue that Mac Jones has not won the Tough Man Award for this season.
100%.
And I think that kind of speaks volumes for the Niners team this season. And so when you see that kind of play, you're like, man, they need more support. They need some help. To not get absolutely anybody, that to me is hard. I mean, look, granted, last year when they got Khalil Davis, all of us were like, what? But at least this season, I felt like maybe if you didn't get the big name, I would have loved to have seen them go after somebody else that we didn't think of that is just another defensive lineman to add more depth to an already depleted line. You know, find someone to come in and help out that is not going to cost you much if you're not going to go after an elite talent. But they got nobody. And that was the hard part. I was like, wait, so we got nobody. So now there's no help coming unless we snag somebody off someone's practice squad or someone gets cut. And to me, that's a tough pill to swallow in the sense that as a franchise, as a product, as a brand, you want your brand to be competitive. You want your brand to do well because that increases ticket sales. It increases revenue. You always want to be competitive if you're the Niners. And by not getting anybody, that sent the message to all of us, including Sterling, myself, everyone, that like, hey, we're going to be real with ourselves. We're more than one player away from making a difference, so we're just going to hang on to our draft picks. Even though we haven't proven that we're really good at drafting yet, we're not going to make a move. We're going to stand pat, and we're not going to get fleeced, right? Lombardi loved it. Well, he loved that comment. He was like, oh, vindication. But to me, it's kind of like you have to do something in order to make yourself competitive and to support your players. And I think that by not getting anybody, it sends a message that like, hey, guys, we're fucked. We're just going to have to figure it out. And that's hard. That's a tough pill to swallow for a lot of fans. And you could argue, well, who cares what the fans want? Well, guess what? I'm a fan. And to see them not make a move sucked. Should they have made the move? Should they have done something? Probably. But look, in the sense of I'm glad they didn't give up like a ton of draft picks or overpay for somebody. And I think that the Quentin Williams trade really screwed everything up because I think that after that it was like Jermaine Johnson, second round pick. We're not going lower than that. I was like, oh crap. But I would have loved to have seen them get somebody. Yeah, I know they got Keon White. And you could argue, well, they made 4 trades this season. But yeah, we're talking about trades at the deadline, okay? Not throughout the season. So that part for me was a tough pill to swallow.
Ooh.
Joseph Ehrenberg says, fuck the fans. Oh, my God. Okay.
Yeah, this is a conversation I've had a lot with you guys in the DMs, with you guys.
Yeah. We had a 2-hour stream on Wednesday, I think.
This is why I'm wearing my Kirkland shirt. Why? Because Kirkland's signature is a quality brand. And right now, the Niners, they're not a quality team right now because they have so many injuries and holes in their roster. And so if you want to be, you had a chance to put that signature move on the team, and they didn't do it. And it's just it's tough to see them not make a move.
Okay, let's do a rapid fire here. Okay. The Niners this year have 8 draft picks. Okay. They have a pick in the first round, second round, third round. They're owned in round 4. Then they have 3 compensation picks right now scheduled for round 4. That could change as free agency comes and goes, depending on who San Francisco buys. That can go to round 4, to round 5, to round 6, all the way to round 7. Then they have their own 7th round draft pick. So 8 draft picks currently. 3 of them, they do not know where that pick will be. It could be a difference of round 4 all the way down to round 7. And their 7th round draft pick is actually tied to the Patriots in the Keion White deal. If he plays 7 games, that pick goes back to New England. That may not even be their pick when the draft comes. So they could have 7 draft picks in reality, and 3 of those picks could be in round 5. They can be in round 6 or round 7 once again. What team is going to make a deal with the 49ers, and let's say San Francisco is playing, they want to be bargain bin shopping. They don't want to go for Jermaine Johnson, rightfully so. 2nd round pick is crazy. They don't want to play in the Quentin Williams bucket or the Trey Hendrickson bucket. That's fine. You're not getting rid of 1st round draft picks for guys you have to pay big money to this year or next season. Let's say you want to play in the Bradley Chubb, the Arden Key, the bargain bin grouping to just get bodies. That was the big, the big complaint of just get somebody. Get some, people are dropping like flies, get somebody in the room. What opposing team wants to make a deal for you for picks they have no idea where that pick will take place at? You don't have the luxury of trading that 7th round draft pick. It might be yours when it's all said and done. So in reality, they only have 4 picks they can play with, and 3 of them are off the table. You're not trading round 1, 2, or 3. You're not getting Jalen Phillips. There was a big conversation on social media. Oh, the Philadelphia Eagles got Jalen Phillips for a 3rd round pick. That could have been San Francisco. Yeah, and guess what, dude? Philadelphia is in the middle of their window to win a Super Bowl, going for it all, getting healthier, and need pass rushers.
Well, they're already stacked.
Right, but San Francisco is 6-7, admittedly not in their window to win a Super Bowl and need those draft picks to reopen it. And I don't love the idea that San Francisco has not been good in rounds 1 through 4. There have been mistakes. There have been whiffs. Those are egregious whiffs. We know that. The Trey Sermons, Danny Grays, and TDPs. They're obvious. It sucks. It has cost this team 1, if not 2 Super Bowls. It happened. However, fans are greedy. They want to rebuild and retool and also win at the same time. Yep. That ain't how the NFL works. It's not how the NBA works. It's not how any sport in the world works. Yet somehow San Francisco, just like the Rams 2 years ago, are riding that really thin line with a backup quarterback and a banged-up defense. This team is 6-3. They are competitive. This team is 6-3. They are in the thick of an NFC West division hunt. To say that we're not competitive, to say that, they're not going for it, that's wrong. If they're not going for a Super Bowl, they never were this year. I think fans weren't ready to accept that San Francisco wasn't good enough, knowing deep down they already knew they weren't good enough. And you can't in one breath say they have to get a safety and a cornerback and an offensive lineman.
That's too much. It's too much.
But no, what I'm saying is you can't ask for those things. They have to draft Trent's replacement. They have to get, Nick Bosa's other, edge rusher on the other end. They have to find a linebacker. And then in the same breath say, trade the whole thing for a bunch of guys and go for it all in the same season. You can't do that.
Nope.
You can't be that greedy. You have to realize there's no 2 timelines here. You can get lucky and really ride the lightning for a year or 2, but fans want it both ways. Go all in and retool. You got to pick one. You can't trade a second-round draft pick and then say, you got to go find a guard next year.
But you took Alfred Collins, C.J. West, and Michael Williams as your first 3 picks. Michael Williams, obviously not a huge pass rushing threat. We knew that. If you follow the draft, you knew that wasn't what he was. Yes. So anytime he did get a sack, that was a benefit. He was an edge-setting, run-stopping defensive lineman. Alfred Collins, C.J. West. C.J. West has been inactive for 2 straight weeks.
Well, no. West is a 4th-round draft pick, though.
He is a 4th round. You're right.
Or it's their first 3 picks the last 2 years have been Ricky Pearsall, Renardo Green, Dominic Pooney, Micah Williams, Alfred Collins, and Upton Stout. All those guys, but one starts every single game and is an integral part of their success. So to say they never make the picks, they don't have the success, that's a bunch of BS because they are. And they have.
But here's the thing. I want to say this. The message was being sent to us this offseason that this was going to be, I can't say a white flag year, but it was going to be a reset year. They were very open about cutting salary and getting cheaper and going to replenish their team with cheaper, younger, healthier players. So as much as I hated that we didn't make a move the deadline, it really coincides with the message we were being sent in the offseason. Nothing's really changed. And as much as I hate to admit it, like, there isn't one player that was available at the trade deadline other than, say, maybe Quinnen Williams, someone who could actually make an impact on this team in the future and in the short term. But he was just too expensive to give up. Plus, you'd have to pay
they
him
gave
too.
up way too much for him. Would you guys have given up that same amount if they said, hey, we'll trade you Quinnen Williams for 2 firsts and Michael Williams? I'm just saying, I don't know. I would say no.
No.
Quinnen Williams, I love the guy. The guy
I would have loved
amazing
if they were somehow able, but they just didn't have the picks. If they got 2, people would have been like, that sucks. They're cheap. If they went and got like 2 depth pieces, like if they got like a backup linebacker and a defensive tackle, like it would have not sounded pretty, but it would have been like, okay, well, that makes sense because we need bodies. I think what really people are gotten frustrated on is we come out of the trade deadline and then we get a miraculous injury to Keon White, and people are like, see, we should have made a pick. We should have made a move. And it's like, so it to me, I teeter on it. I understand why they didn't do it.
Yeah.
All I'm saying
I totally get it.
They need to pound this draft next year. They need to hit again.
That's what they've been doing. Like they have been pounding the last 2 drafts.
The last 2 drafts have been really good. They need to have another one.
They took the last 2 drafts really seriously. The previous 2, I'm sure they did, but they just failed on them.
But that's actually a good point because even Kyle Shanahan said that in 2023, that was the Jake Moody Cam Latu year where they had 2 of those 3rd-round draft picks that are not on the team anymore for terrible picks. Even he said they felt like they had starters everywhere. They had luxury picks that season. Not to say they wasted those picks, but they kind of felt like they didn't need to find starters. Oh, that's asinine and that's crazy to say. Those were his words. And now all of a sudden, when they have to have those picks, just like when they needed those picks in 2018, 2017, 2019, they're hitting again. And look, that's how the draft goes. Sometimes you miss, you hit. That's life in general, right? However, it's like, I think San Francisco has shown that while they have missed a ton, they have been much better in recent years at hitting their draft picks. They had 11 draft picks last season. Go through the entire thing. Michael started before he got hurt. Alfred Collins has played the entire year. Now he's basically a starter. Upton Stout's been your nickelback the entire season. Ups and downs for sure, but he's a young nickelback playing NFL and starting from day one. Martin hasn't played really at all, but that was expected. He was the prospect. He was the reach of the draft. I don't love that pick, but to each their own. You know, West has played a lot of the season. And they've had some guys. Marquis Siegel's a 5th-round draft pick, started games for you. He wasn't great, sure, and he got benched, but he still played for you early in the season and won you a game against the Rams late in that one. You go to the draft class prior, like San Francisco's entire secondary or draft picks, 4 of them are draft picks of the last 3 seasons.
Yep.
Like Mustafa, Brown, you're going to go Siegel, sure, Green, and Stout. Like, that's a big deal to find that many starters, albeit I want a new safety. To find 4 starters in your secondary the last 2 seasons, that's a big deal.
Demo's also a draft pick.
Then you go to the offense. The only offensive players, when healthy, that are not draft picks is Trent, Ben Barch, and if you want to put Burford in there, you certainly could instead. But it's Williams, Brendel, and that's kind of it. Kyle Juszczyk and Chris McCaffrey. So,
their core has been mostly draft
as a
picks.
whole are not draft picks. I think it's insane to say they're not good at drafting when in reality the draft picks are actually keeping them afloat this year. And I think fans realized, we're 6-3. we should go all in. And Kyle and John were like, are you serious? The asking prices are too high. We can't afford that. And you see the injuries. Why get one guy when we can get 7 guys next year in the draft and hopefully insulate ourselves further? You want bodies? We're going to get you bodies when the year's over with in the draft. I don't think like fans don't have, well, not all of them, but some fans get so emotional in one direction and don't see the other side of the aisle, when the other side of the aisle may be more logical than their own train of thought. Which isn't a bad thing. We love passion, and we're all wrong at times. Maybe I'm wrong. John and Kyle have been wrong. Dre's been wrong. Aaron's been wrong. We've all been wrong.
I'm never wrong.
But it's like, this team is losing bodies. That doesn't mean you trade the entire farm for a bunch of guys you hope can be good.
Can you answer me this? Is it important for them as an organization, based on the what we all just said or what you said, to figure that out of this injury situation going into next season, with the amount of bodies we have that we've drafted and that we're going to bring in, that they need to at least figure out what's going on with this injury situation? Because I heard Larry talk about it, and he said that, like, you can't guarantee next season. And I think that's why fans get pissed. It's like, how do you know we're not going to be injury depleted next season?
Sure.
You know
Well,
what I
you
mean?
don't. You never know.
And
But
this
that's
whole
why
thing,
San
like,
Francisco went for it all in 2021, 22 and 2, and 2023. They
Right.
realized we have a team, we have to go all in.
Yeah.
Let's go get Chase Young, Randy Gregory, Christian McCaffrey. Let's go get Emmanuel Sanders. It's like they would buy if it made sense to buy.
Yeah.
They'd buy if it made sense in their window.
And a
But
lot
the
of people
window
were
is
saying-
closing, they want to shove it back open.
A lot of people were saying, "Oh, well, I mean, look at the Lions. You know, they drafted correctly, and they have." But you got to remember too, the Lions were horrible for so long. They had so many first and second round picks that if you have any talent at drafting, yeah, it's like, come on, that's ridiculous. I mean, I'm looking at the 23 draft, and like, I don't see a lot of people or a lot of players, and I'm like, oh man, that's the guy we needed. I mean, there's not a lot of guys past but the guys we did take were terrible. Jake Moody, Cam Latu, not good.
I feel like during Super Bowl windows, teams tend to draft crappy. And then when they actually are forced to
number 30 and number 29,
Yeah,
right.
You're picking hella
right.
low.
And when you're forced to lock in and actually do what you have to do in order to improve your team, all of a sudden the scouting's better. Everybody it just looks like, dude, think about that. Last year's draft, how many of them played? Like Pooney played, Ronaldo Green played. We had Mustafa come out of last year. He was last year's draft, correct?
No played last year. He hasn't played at all this year.
Who?
Grendo.
Oh, I know. He's been banished.
But you guys, that's a good problem to have, though, in that situation. That just shows you Christian McCaffrey's healthy. Brian Robinson, I mean, he looked good in the last game we played, but like, we've been spoiled. We've been spoiled.
I mean, should San
fans.
Francisco look at? I mean, like, okay, if the Niners don't make the playoffs, or let's say they make the playoffs and they get smoked in the first round,
which is very possible.
do you think that John Lynch is on the hot seat? No, not at all.
Is Kyle?
Absolutely not.
So why would John be?
Because if anyone's going to take the blame for this, or to be the fall guy, it's going to have to be him. But do you think that
they'll blame their training staff?
Well,
before they blame John Lynch.
but do you think that they promote him, and bring somebody else in to be,
They already promoted John. John's the president of whatever football operations.
Right, but I'm saying, like,
GM.
Bring in another guy who's in charge of drafting, just to make sure that you hit on all your draft picks. I'm not.
But like, do you want Adam Peters back?
No, he's not gonna. Why would he come back? He's like, let's do it.
No, but I'm just saying, like, look at the drafts Adam Peters was the GM for. Those drafts kind of suck.
They did. I'm looking at 2023. It looks like shit.
Well, and also look at the Commanders draft this past year. No one stands out.
Nobody stands out. Luke McCaffrey's on IR.
And Krosky Merritt's been okay, but like it's just been
and not only that,
Peters
but
got a lot of credit. Oh, Peters is this, Peters is that.
But they had an easier schedule last season. Look at this season. Last season they made the NFC title game. This season you're going against more difficult teams, and they've played like crap. And I'm sorry,
they've also had a lot of
Bobby
injuries, too.
Wagner, You should have been happy with the year you got from him last year. But to bring him back and to say, hey, you're going to be our leader on defense, he's too old.
He's slow and old.
He's slow and old. He had a good year last year. Hey, that's great.
Yeah.
But
I would have loved to have had him. I know that he didn't play the same position, but I would have loved to have him over Devondre Campbell last season. But he would never.
You know what? He's a former Seahawk. Fuck him.
Nah,
I can't stand the Seahawks.
I got over that when Sherman came to the 49ers.
Oh, I know. I hated his guts, and then they signed him. I was like, I
my brother even said that.
Kerry Hyder.
Kerry Hyder. Aaron loves bringing up Kerry Hyder. Hey, if Aaron was the GM, he would have signed Kerry Hyder weeks ago. Yeah. Hey, what's up, y'all? I haven't played in a while.
He's a body.
Look at Kenny 49ers. Josh Connerly is horrible.
He's been really bad. Like, they've not drafted well. They've been really bad. But like, I just think that being a fan, watching your team be 6-3, having a winning record and a fighting chance, and then having your team do nothing, I think it's a hard pill to swallow.
It is.
I think it was their first time since 2018 not making a trade at the deadline, which I get it. That sucks and everything. But like, I know we can say, oh, you know, they made 4 trades in the preseason. Yeah, but those 4 trades or whatever, like, you trade Mason away, you go get Bryce Huff. That's been a big addition for this team. Like, if you didn't have Bryce Huff, it didn't make that deal. This defense is a lot worse than it already is, and it already isn't great now, really, with all the injuries they have. Brian Robinson finally explodes and is your RB2 this year and has been actually your best kick returner all year long. Sky Moore was just a body because they didn't have any receivers. It's so
that like, and they needed a return guy. Junior Bergen was not going to work out. Again, that was a bad pick too. Junior Bergen. I was like, what are we doing? Why are we taking a kick returner? I was like,
round 7, your last pick.
Like, I know, but still, it was like, come on.
Like, I don't tend to criticize 7th round draft picks because it's like it's
Connor Colby.
I mean, hey, like Brock Purdy was a 7th round draft pick. Like, he's going to be UDFA, and sometimes things pan out. So it's like, you know, it's not like they don't matter, but it's like I'm not going to criticize you. Like, I'm someone who was very nearsighted, and when they picked Jawan Jennings, was like, what the hell? We didn't need a receiver. Really? Like, what are we doing? But since then, you learn, like, you know, there's value in guys. Like, you pick in 252, who cares, right? Like, and Connor Colby, for as much as we said they didn't insulate the room, which it didn't very well, and he played the majority of the season for you. Not well, but he's played okay. You know, it's been not great for a 7th round pick, but he's been good enough to get you 5 wins this year. Yeah. And so, like, I don't know, like, I think fans are being too critical of John Lynch. They're too up in arms about John Lynch. Fans want to win now and then still be able to rebuild and retool and get better and younger. That's not how the NFL works. Like, if you are continually picking at 32nd and 31 and in late 20s, the odds are your draft picks aren't going to be that good.
Yep.
And the more you can pick inside the top 40, top 50, top 100, like last year for San Francisco, the odds are the picks are going to be more impactful. They had 4 picks in top 100 this year. All 3 guys before injuries were starting for them on defense. It's like now this year, if the way they're going, their first 2 picks could be top 40, top 50 again. Like, you're going to find, hopefully, really good players in that top 40, top 50 that can help you immediately, can give you more depth immediately, to help protect Brock Purdy immediately. And don't forget, Samuel Kawanu, free agent. Yetur Gross-Matos, free agent. Spencer Burford, free agent. Like, they're going to lose guys as well. You have to have draft picks to replenish the depth on the roster too. And I just think fans, they get it. They just don't want to hear it. And that's doesn't make sense. Like when you say it out loud, it's like, really? Like, do you understand how you sound? Like, come on.
The more time has gone on from the trade deadline, the less I'm upset about it or worried. Because now I'm looking at this team and I'm just being realistic. I'm watching a team that is finding ways to win games they should lose. Yeah. They're undermanned. They're under-talented all across the board because of injuries. And, you know, I don't have a lot of expectation this year. So, like, watching games, to me, any win we get is kind of like a plus.
Right.
And then if they get into the playoffs and they upset a good team, that's always great, especially if it's a division rival. Or say we play a team like Philly and we beat them. I don't think we will, but that would always be great. But I'm looking into next year. Let me ask you something. I want to get to the end because we got to make our picks and stuff and talk about the Rams. Because the Niners will be
playing on Sunday.
because the Niners are going to be picking late, possibly. Are we getting to the point now where we start to maybe move around picks in the next coming year's draft to start where we make less picks in the draft because of how late we're drafting? Or are the Niners, you think, next year going to stand pat where they are and pretty much draft where they are? You know what I mean? Because now we're looking for starters. I mean, you're gonna want.
You're not though.
You're not looking for a starting left tackle in the draft.
No.
Are you still going for an edge rusher again? Maybe.
Well, Trent's probably going to come back again. I don't think he's ready to hang it up. He's played better recently, and I think he looked fine. Your entire defense, your starters are in place, basically. Maybe there's a defensive tackle you take again, which I wouldn't be opposed to. Getting another space eater or a pass rusher on there too would be great. I think that's the only spot. But like Winters is your linebacker next to Fred. Bethune's under contract still. You drafted Martin. You're probably going to bring back Curtis Robinson. Your secondary is pretty much intact, at least in regards to a starting standpoint.
What about a free safety?
Yeah, sure. But like, are you drafting a free safety in round one? Probably not. I think that like fans, even myself sometimes, like sometimes it's hard to get caught up in the roster construction thing. But when you sit back and look at it, like they're in a really good spot, like a really good spot right now. And I think that like they don't need many starters this year, and I think they're going to be fine. I think if there's some guy they like and they want to get aggressive for, sure, but if you're picking in the top 40 twice or top 50 twice, like you can kind of sit back and let the board fall to you,
right?
And it's worked out in their favor the last couple of years too. So I don't know.
All right, we're going to do a little bit of a prediction time, and then we'll get out of here. Ramby 49ers Week 10 preview. I'll go first. Haven't been real comfortable about this game. Just based on the Niners roster, the injuries, and then you look at the Rams and nobody's hurt. I think the Niners get kind of boat raced in this one, to be perfectly honest with you. I'm thinking more along the lines of maybe like a 38-20 Rams victory. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
just based on how well they're playing, based on the kind of season that Matt Stafford's playing, and the Niners have been doing okay against pretty awful teams in the New York Giants, and they still gave up 24 points. So, I think the Niners have a cap when they score points, and I think 35 was not the norm with the Mac Jones-led offense. So, yeah, I'm picking the Niners to go down 38-24 to the Rams and lose this game.
Dre?
I have the Niners winning this game. I think this is going to be another statement win because then the Rams are going to come out and they're going to want to win this game. They're going to come out with a full head of steam because, look, they beat them in their own home, and they want to make sure they return the favor. And they don't want to lose 2 games to the Niners in their own division. And so I think that if you can withstand the first initial onslaught from Sean McVay, I think the Niners can find a way to win this game. I think final score, Niners win 31-28 San Francisco. I think that the Niners are able to score. They're able to run the ball effectively, but they can't stop anybody. And so it ends up becoming a high-scoring game because we all know that, hey, look, when you get in the fourth quarter and you got a guy like Matthew Stafford who refuses to lose, he'll find a way to keep scoring points.
Yep.
And I think the Niners end up winning 31-28 in a very close game.
I will agree. This game will be really close. I think San Francisco plays almost the exact same game every single weekend. I think it'll be a one-score game. I don't think the Giants game was an indication of things to come. I think the rushing attack for San Francisco can find some success, keep things close, but Maybe there is some sense to the Rams' 3-game winning streak being somewhat fake. You played the Ravens, Lamar Jackson. You played the Jaguars, who were inconsistent. You played the Tyler Shugg NFL draft debut with the Saints last Sunday, and you killed them. I don't think San Francisco has the dogs to stay up in the race with the Rams in this one. It'll be close, though. NFC West games are tricky. Cardinals games, game-winning field goal. Seahawks game-winning touchdown, basically. And I think the game against the Rams, 2 game-winning goal line drives to end the game for San Francisco. I think that San Francisco loses this game 27-23. It'll be close, a 1-score game. I think the Rams got a new kicker. Maybe that changes the outcome. Certainly hurt them in week 5. And I think that the Rams will not make the same mistake twice, giving Kyron Williams the football 2 times to take the lead and win. It didn't work out that time. I think they'll give Matthew Stafford and the rest of their offense a chance to win at a higher clip on Sunday. San Francisco safeties also can't cover, so watch out for the deep ball. That's my worry in this one. The Texans game, albeit was a outlier, it could become a more consistent outcome against the Matthew Stafford-led offense. So I'm going Rams 27-23.
I guess I'm just looking at this game like the Bucs game, where I think the Niners are going to have some opportunities to do some things, but I think because they don't turn anybody over and they turn the ball over, I think that's what's going to be the difference. But yeah, I want to pick the Niners to win this game, but my heart tells me that the Rams are the better team.
Well, they're better. Yeah, the Rams are a better team.
Winners can't do it.
I suck at picking games, by the way. So, but
you suck.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Thanks, everybody in the chat, for coming on here and being part of this almost an hour and 45 minutes stream.
This is a long one.
Sorry for the shitty intro. I really biffed it when I started this stream, but I think we ended on a better note. But everybody else, take care. We will see you guys next week on Cover 3. I do not know who's hosting, but we'll be back same time, same place on YouTube. Everybody take care, stay healthy, and go Niners. Peace.
Go Niners!